Hey there, I'm Sully, and as always, welcome into the Gun Club. Alrighty, we're going live streaming on YouTube and Rumble here. It is the weekly update for the Gun Club, October 24th, 2023. On our weekly live stream today, we've got a few interesting things, and we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff. We've got some interesting stuff with some legal news. I got a little bit of an incident update, incident reports, and then I've got a couple of really interesting good guy and girl with a gun situations that came up. We do have our next stream is going to be upcoming this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, as always. We've been doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays. So far, seem to be getting decent response to it all. Hopefully, again, grow more and more as we grow the channel. Folks, I will tell you, if you like what you're getting here, please go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead, share the channel out with your friends. We're up about 215 subscribers so far. The more we can build up, the more we can do. We actually will be giving out some swag and some merchandise or some goodies. We'll be doing some raffles. I'm thinking when we get up to about 500, thinking about raffling off some really, really nice tumblers. Oh, maybe something looks kind of like this. With this, anyone like some of these? They're actually kind of cool. They keep your coffee hot, your sweet tea cold, and they're made for us custom by our friends over at Southern Sisters Crafty Creations. So they are basically very unique, very cool, and very nice looking epoxy tumblers there that we've got. And it was really interesting. I was talking with the lady who makes them, and I said, you make the great cups. And she said, they're tumblers, they're not cups. And I'm like, what's the difference? And she said, well, you always correct me when I call it a magazine when I call it a clip instead of a magazine. So I'm going to correct you when you call it a tumbler. Yeah, we end up pulling a set of stripper clips out and showing her how stripper clips work to load an AR magazine because, we try to be educational here. Not to mention that we have a little bit of fun. Sometimes we have some dark, some deep, some negative news. I'm going to try to put a little bit more humor in there. And as we all know, our government is good for humor. Sometimes some of the funniest things you see are people in our government talking about guns and what they know about guns. And again, that's one of the reasons why we started this channel, is really to get the real word out there. And, we have to start off with a little bit of humor for the day. So let's try this one.
Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber?
I do. Joe, if you can find me one, or Brandon, whatever name you'd prefer, if you can find me one with 100 rounds in the chamber, let me know. It's on my Christmas list. But yeah, I'm lucky to get one round in the chamber. I mean, I guess if a weapon had 100 chambers, are we talking some type of Gatling gun? I don't know. But, folks, if you find one, please send me a link to it. Throw it in the comment section. Something I could put 100 rounds in the chamber. Could be kind of fun. Now, a couple things in the legal section, and we've got some interesting developments. First of all, out of California, the assault weapons restriction, and I just call it restriction or ban or whatever, the Miller case we'll refer to, and the magazine capacity restriction. We all know that citizens of California don't have equal rights with the rest of the country. Well, both of these have been struck down by District Judge Benitez, also known as St. Benitez. Both of them have 10-day stays to allow the state to appeal, and both have already been appealed up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in California. Again, right now, nothing yet, but, the Ninth Circuit has been okay. They've never been really good to us. They've never really been pro 2A, but they've been okay subsequent to the Bruen decision. So we're hoping that maybe California gets their, assault weapons restriction removed. Folks, we all know that assault weapons is a made-up name for otherwise normal firearms. It's, been a joke ever since the assault weapons ban dates back to 94. Secondly, when you get into magazine capacity restrictions, okay, so you can have a 10 round, but not a 15 round magazine. Okay, so we can only have certain guns in certain, you know, is it helping? Is it reducing gun crime? Do people on the streets of LA or San Francisco or any city in California feel safer with this kind of stuff? Have we had a lot of AR-15 street crime? Have we had a lot of bayonet-related street crime? Probably not. So once again, our beloved politicians are going out and doing something to make the world safer that's not working. Now, also came out recently, Massachusetts, and this is a big one. They passed out of the House so far, it's not law yet, but they passed a House bill. It's 125 pages long. And it really is what I'm looking at as a response to Bruen. And that's why you'll notice we're getting into a lot of legal here, because ever since the Supreme Court changed the playing field with the Bruen decision, we've got a lot of states doing, well, crazy crap. Now, one of the things, okay, prohibits buying new ARs. Okay, we're going to target ARs again. Why? Well, because we all know that rifles account for less than 3% of the murders, and ARs account for less than that 3%. So we'll attack those because they're big and bad. Okay. This part requires individual specific firearm components to have serial numbers on them. Instead of the firearm having its serial number, individual components now will have to have serial numbers on them. A little bit getting on the excessive side there, getting ridiculous. Plus, there's how many existing guns already on the streets that don't fall under this. Are we going to have to go back and get things engraved? Again, the bill is still a bill and they're working on it. If you live in Massachusetts, you need to contact your state senator. You need to find out if your rep voted for this. If your rep voted for this, it's time to look at primarying them because this is stupid. Now, the interesting thing is it goes further into the bill and it bans turning a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon. No duh. That's covered. Federally, already is covered. Now, it's really interesting with the fact that they put this into this bill. Why? Well, because if you're against this bill, then you're obviously all for people having automatic weapons. What they did with this bill, and again, I sort of hit some of the bullet points there, and this isn't all of it, but if you look at, requiring things to be serialized and registering individual components of a firearm, not the firearm as a whole, is excessive and crazy. They put those excessive and crazy things in there, but then they put, it's going to prohibit guns in schools and government offices and sensitive areas. So if you're against this bill, obviously you want kids shot up in a school. So people vote for this bill without realizing some of the other excessive and crazy crap and the rest of it. We need to get to our, again, I'm not in Massachusetts. Thankfully, I'm in South Carolina. But when you look at this, folks, read all these bills because what they'll do is they'll put 2 or 3 very sensible, agreeable things in there about, okay, we need to keep firearms out of the hands of felons. We shouldn't have people turning weapons into automatic weapons. Okay, I can deal with that, whatever. But then they put in a bunch of other stuff that is excessive. But when you come back against the ban and when you come back against the bill, say, this is excessive, this is excessive. Oh, so you want people turning semi-autos into automatic weapons? It's the same way we hear about it in Congress and everything else. Yes, we want to fund Social Security. Yes, we want to fund the military. But if we're going to fund Social Security and the military, we also need to fund, Pakistani basket weaving classes at, Tobuck University. What? Now, maybe we can afford not to do that. They roll all this stuff in. Some of it is perfectly logical and sensible, and some of it is crap. Besides, let's face it, this is nothing but Massachusetts having a hiss subsequent to the Bruen ruling. They're going to go out there and they're going to show us who's boss. And again, Massachusetts does not have anywhere near the gun crime per capita that some other places have. Why are they fixing a problem that doesn't exist? I would love to know how many ARs have been used in crime in Massachusetts. Given the fact that their shooting numbers are very, very low, Why are we prohibiting people purchasing them? Are they afraid it's going to start? It's going to be the new thing? Or are they just going after something else to make life difficult for firearms owners? Now, the last part of it is, I love when they talk about individual components. They're going to register and serial numbers on individual components. Okay. Criminals don't register any of their guns to begin with. They don't register the gun as a whole. They're not going to register the components, and they're not going to serialize the components. Gun control laws, as we all know, only affect the people who choose to live by law. They don't affect criminal. So it will not do anything, but it's just one more kick in the teeth for the 2A community. Alrighty, now I have a bit of good news. This one's out of Gainesville, Florida, and I've got it as an incident report, but it really should go down as an incident avoided because we did have a near miss, should we say. A 31-year-old man is behind bars now after posting a video on Instagram threatening to go shoot up a local elementary school. Yes, that's right. He sat there with an AR and in his home and sat there as an AR platform. I couldn't tell whether it was a AR-10 or an AR-15. I mean, we all know that an AR-10 is 5 ARs safer than a 15. But he actually wrote up a manifesto and said that he was going to go shoot up the elementary school up the road, but that he was only planning on doing it on Saturday or Sunday when there weren't any kids there. I guess he doesn't give a damn about the maintenance staff. His reason for doing it was so law enforcement would respond. He wanted the police to respond to someone shooting up a school because he then had a plan of aiming a toy handgun at the police and getting himself taken care of or get his birth certificate revoked by the police because that way his parents could sue. He actually, when you come up with plans like this and ideas like this, I'm going to go out and get myself yeeted by the popo for shooting up an elementary school when there's no kids there. Now, I'll also note, according to his, Facebook and everything else, he was employed as a shop supervisor at Florida State University, where he graduated from. Now, I don't know what a shop supervisor does at FSU. I don't know what he graduated, how well he did, or anything else. I have some real questions. This man, I mean, fortunately, it was attempted, police-assisted suicide, so to speak, or cop-assisted suicide. Dark stuff, folks. But it was stopped. Somebody saw it. They said something. His, video, it may well have been a cry for help. And I hope for his well-being, I hope it was. I really do. I don't want to see anyone get themselves yeeted by, anyone. I don't want to see them eat themselves. But to sit there and come up with this plan of this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go shoot up a school, but only on the weekend. Folks, there's definitely some mental health stuff going on here. Now, I don't know if he had any family or anyone close to him who could have, stepped in, intervened, or done something for this man. Like I said, I'm glad he's off the street, being held on no bond. Life is good on that side. Maybe get the help he needs. Hopefully, at least after all this, with him being charged with a couple of different crimes, we take away the pew-pews from him. I don't think he really needs to be living his best pew-pew life. Just my opinion, for what it's worth. Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me a rumor monger, whatever. Alrighty. I see we've got about 5 people in the chat, folks, in Rumble. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream. Throw up where you're from in the chat. I'd love to see where we're getting some of our people from. We've got the live chat open both on Rumble and on YouTube. Let me see what we've got coming up in the YouTube chats here. Okay. The YouTube chat looks like it's open. The Rumble chat's open. Anybody awake? On a scale of 1 to 10, is anybody breathing out there? Alrighty, we got about 6 watching in Rumble. Folks, like I said, if you enjoy the stream, please give us a thumbs up. If you've got suggestions, if you've got topics you want me to do, by all means. We've been doing a lot of a deep dive into shotgun stuff, and I kind of enjoyed that. We're going to be doing a little bit more probably into ARs coming up. There was some interesting stuff that came out of a hearing. I've been dissecting it of an expert who had a lot to say about ARs, and we're going to see how much of it we think is true here in the clubhouse. I personally think it's kind of crazy, but what are we going to do? Alrighty, moving onwards and upward. Let's see what else we can find here. How about some good guy with a gun stories? And I've got a couple of them here. This first one, you may well have seen it. It's been all over the place. I know it popped up on Law of Self-Defense. I know it popped up on several channels, and I thought it bears repeating. In Auburn, Washington, just outside Seattle, about 30 miles outside, homeowner hears people pounding on the door, screaming Seattle police. He checks his camera outside and sees 3 armed men with masks with handguns. The armed men at this point are trying to kick and break in the door. It takes them numerous kicks and punches and throwing themselves into the door. And as you see the door fly open, the bad guy takes a shot. You can see on the camera from the porch where he's taking a shot into the house, and the homeowner opens fire and the group scatters. We don't know if anybody was actually hit in the exchange of this. We do know that rounds did hit multiple neighboring residences. It was interesting. They found brass all up and down the block. Apparently, in their hasty retreat, the home invaders were spraying and praying back at the gentleman who'd open up on them. Now, Dark 100, you hear someone pounding on your door saying it's the police. It may be. It may not be. If you have a camera, before you get all worried and go check it, if you have a camera, look at your camera outside. See what's going on. I'm not saying that we should ever doubt that it is, but if you have the ability to check and confirm, folks, I know these homeowners are damn glad they checked and confirmed, because guess what? It was 3 armed home invaders, and there had been some, interesting violence in the neighborhood antecedent to this. They don't know whether it's related to the same group or not, but PD is looking for them. And again, we don't know how it happened, don't know how it went down, but it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Now, our next one, kind of interesting. We have a homeowner in North Carolina right up the road here from me, shot an intruder. Now, this one is much simpler. We have a suspect who gains access to the house 3 a.m. He's breaking multiple panes of glass to get and unlock the door. The resident is a legal firearm owner, gives him multiple verbal warnings, and when the suspect entered the house, it didn't work out too well for the home team. The resident discharged his firearm and revoked the idiot's birth certificate. Sorry, Charlie. Hate to break it to you. Now, on this one, no charges have been filed against the homeowner. Pretty much cut and dry, stand your ground, castle doctrine. He forced entry into someone's home. They took matters appropriately. Yeah, it's sad to say. I don't want to see, and I never want it to be, like I laugh at anyone losing their life here, because that's not what it is. But again, if someone's got to get yeeted, I'd rather it be the bad guy than the homeowners. Now, we're going to go one step further here, because again, as I'm looking this one up, I find another shooting in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Apparently, the boys up the road in the Wake have been busy. And maybe Forsyth County, maybe it's something they put in the water, I don't know. Now, this one's kind of interesting. A licensed concealed carry holder intervened in a domestic incident. Male suspect, 35 years old, opens fires on 2 individuals in the middle of the day in a grocery store parking lot. So you're out in a grocery store parking lot, guy is shooting at 2 people. Bystander witnesses this incident go down. He opens fire on the suspect. This causes the suspect to flee. Yeah. I talk good English, but he tells them to flee. Now, suspect crashed shortly thereafter, was taken into custody by law enforcement, was not hit with any of the rounds, did not hit anyone with any of the rounds. So, fortunately, That's all good. And the suspect has been charged with numerous offenses, one of which is DUI, failure to maintain his lane, and I think reckless driving or something like that, as well as the charges stemming from the shooting. Now, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you how to live your life. I'm going to say hats off to this bystander, because if this bad guy, most likely somewhat intoxicated, I'm guessing with the DUI charges right up the road, is sitting there shooting at unarmed people in a grocery store parking lot, maybe they catch around, maybe someone catches a stray, something else, someone engaged with him and pushed him out. Someone made him staying there doing his crime, which attacking someone with a gun is a crime. Even though they didn't hit him, they made it too risky for him to stay there and continue engaging. So no one got actually shot, no one was actually killed, but what do we see? A good guy with a gun putting an end to a shooting. A good guy with a gun is the only thing that stopped the shooting. Now, it is what it is. You know, I don't want, like I said, anyone to get shot. I'm not happy that anyone gets shot or shot at, but I am happy that the good guy went home in one piece. Again, in defense of others, he protected two people plus any other bystanders from Idiot Boy. And, you know, if you contact me and you let me know who you are, if you see this stream, I'm more than happy to pay for the ammunition you used in defending someone else. I'll slip you a little something, because you know what? If good guys would stand up and deal with this stuff when it's not even their problem, you know, hey. Now, again, he did also take the risk of possibly getting shot himself, possibly having an accident himself and shooting a bystander. He took the risk of possibly ending up in a legal fight if he had shot and killed somebody. But he took all those risks to save the lives of two people in a grocery store parking lot, two strangers. So we take it for what it's worth in this world, you know. And again, I'd kind of rather have someone around who's willing to step up and do that and be the good guy with a gun than, you know, some idiots.
Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber?
I'd rather have good guys like that than good guys like Brandon. Call it for what it is, folks. All righty. Well, that's all I've got. I'll be back here Thursday at around 7:05 Eastern, as always. We're going to be doing another deep dive into a topic. I'm trying to get some AR stuff put together for it. If I can, great. If I can't, then we'll maybe looking into some other situational awareness stuff or anything else. Like I said, if you have an idea for a topic or something you'd like to see me cover, or a specific incident you'd like to see me cover, by all means, reach out, hit me up. I'm around always. You can hit me up either on Twitter at the Gun Club Podcast or over at our email, mike@southeastdefense@gmail.com. By all means, folks, please be smart, be safe, take it easy. Bye.